Alright, it's July July 25th, 2021. I see my eyes are a different color at the moment in the reflection. Alright, tonight I put together I mean, at home we call it a montage, but I'm in hell. So, I put together the Space Force, which is a division of the Air Force, I believe. That's what it says on the spatial pendant or pin that I have a photo of only. Then I have the Marine Corps, but it's in black and red with gold. I don't have a, I mean, it's a pin, it's a special whatever. I know those are important to people. And then there's a red and white one says fire and rescue, which is kind of what FDNY has on their departmental stuff. I just did not realize how compartmentalized they are. I went up to the 306, which is 214th and 41st, I think. And that's the local firehouse. Some dark-skinned new guy answered the door. Try to show him the three emblems on symbolic, they're worldwide symbols of peace, I thought, and help and rescue for like the superheroes of the world. I just don't know why I get all the evil villains that work in my neighborhood. And he was just like, I don't know, he looked thoroughly annoyed, and like, white guy was coming to the door, then disappeared out away from the door. But I was showing the guy who answered the door, who's new to the fire department apparently, that what transgradient means, because I hear the news media speaks a lot about transsexual, and then they get themselves confused with transgender. I'm like, no, that's for the dumb, fucking, and useless arguments of nobody gives a shit. I have a transgradient problem, which is I caught on video with one of the local thunder and lightning storms at the dome level. It's like an open microwave. It's the same. It's advanced modern warfare. I caught that, but I don't have a place to report it. So I asked two civilians just standing on the side of the road by Moe's. I forgot I said Joe's the other night. Oops. Well, it's Moe's halal food truck, but it was closed for the moment. And it was standing right over the train trestle, on the train trestle in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And I told those two gentlemen who were smoking cigars, by the way, that I asked them, I asked FDNY, they only do fire, though. There's no rescue component. And then I asked the guy, I'm like, so, at the door of the firehouse, I'm like, so, do they ever do fire, like, rescue stuff? I mean, like, they promote themselves as, like New York's finest. You're telling me they're not? Because I'm a local, and we really don't have much interaction with any of you. I mean, I saw 9/11, they looked really busy and really important in New York City. I just never see any in real life. Except when a fire hydrant I have to report is leaking or gushing because one of the civilians opened the cap like an annoying child, and then you guys have to show up. So now that happened, I told two other guys, I'm like, and also, by the way, do you do anything with the schools, like PS31? Like, do you go in there and teach the kids about fire safety, anything? He's like, no. And he's like, well, if we see them on the street, we'll be nice to them. We say hello. But, like, but no, we don't, that's some other area. Like, another area? So you send non-locals in to do fire safety training? What the hell kind of department? Like, what is New York City doing? Anyway, so then I left. Then I went down to NYPD, and he looked like the guy, I swear to God, Forrest Gump movie, on the shrimping boat. Without the lip, that's what he looked like. And what a nice gentleman, by the way. I showed him on camera, by the way. I told him about FDNY and my confusion as to what I thought they did and what they actually say they do, which is nothing other than if you have a fire, they'll come and show up. That's it. They don't handle anything else. Not in Bayside. Because that's interesting, because the Bayside guy who works in the Bronx says that they handle everything. Like, fat guys fell down the stairs, somebody shit in their bed, they gotta wipe their ass. I'm like, why does Bayside not have that level of importance in fire department and rescue and stuff with the public? It's just confusing. And then I told NYPD, I said, and then I showed him, I said, now, did you grow up in New York? He goes, yeah. I go, all right, so finish the sentence for me. Do you ever, I was like, if I dig a hole from here, I get to, and he goes, I don't know. I'm like, you didn't hear, like, we get, like, if you dig a hole from New York, you get to China? He goes, oh, yeah, no, that I heard. I'm like, yeah, all right, good, because I work geospatially. I was like, and for advanced modern warfare, that's a really important local phrase for crime fighting and for geospatial, like, plagia, because what happens is, the minute I was born August 3rd, 1978, if I put a plug or a pole between New York through the sphere that keeps our atmosphere and health safely in a sphere and not some other shape, I would come out at the landmass at the bottom of that plug or that geospatial mark in China, China. That is incredibly important for crime fighting in case during my lifetime one of the evil children of Earth decide to try to avoid punishment and we catch a drift. DRIFT. Which is where we currently are, since by the way, my knees, whoever fixed my matrix, kind of, sort of, but not really, my knees today are working wonderfully towards the end of the day. However, the fulcrum, FOLCRUM, moved from my knee joint being in pain and cracking to my lower dorsal back, right pretty much in the center and a little to the left. Now, in my lifetime, I had plastic surgery in a private spot that is not public information, but it makes my body weight calculation really hard for some of the non-professionals that, let's say, aren't who I belong to in heaven space. Michael Houston got to weigh them personally, so he's got calculations. But for the rest of the world, it's non-essential information because you shouldn't be touching the world's global geospatial equipment anyway. Messing with people's anatomy and hitting us with advanced microwaves during thunderstorms because you lost your geospatial positioning because you were fighting with your neighbor in countries that don't fucking matter because they were never in the argument to begin with until you started fucking letting time elapse and criminals move. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's July 25th, 2021. I'm Centurion, Century 19, year 78. This is a re-emergence or a reappearance for me. I'm what's called a remedy to a geoanatomical and geonatology and geospatial advanced equation for which the current leadership has lost their way. And I don't know how to report and get to where I need to be in order to fix it safely. So I'm announcing to the public via social media what my findings are in my local area. But I find that the news announces this false sense of reality, this false sense of social structure, this false sense of emergency management that actually, in fact, does not exist anywhere in New York City and nowhere in New York State. So I don't know who's accepting money and accepting transient people that don't belong to collect facts and data that are irrelevant for what actually needs to be done. Just in case you're under the wrong leadership, you might want to fucking get, like, a clue and a grip. All area dumb, fucking, and useless.